So that being said, when you talk to our brothers and sisters and our African American brothers and sisters, and it's something that I used to, and I had to really pay attention to, not paying attention to how people feel, because it's something that I used to like dismiss, because maybe it's because I am, African Haitian, African American Haitian, and in my experience, even though I was born in New Jersey. I grew up here, in Philly. My experience is different, I guess, because of the cultural, because of the, you know, in our household when I was growing up, we knew that we were Haitian. We knew that we were Haitian American for the most part, and we understood some facts about our situation as Haitians, meaning that we understood that the relationship that we have with, let's say, the white man is a little, yeah, we got to feed him with a long spoon. We understood that. We understood also coming here that, for the most part, I have to be completely honest, the older generation, the people that were maybe, when I remember, I can't remember the discussions over the age of 8, but around that time, around 7, 8, I remember hearing people, be it that when we went to church, went to Haitian churches, when we went to affairs, you would hear people say, yeah, like if they're about to leave church and go to the car, be careful, those African Americans. And I could never for the life of me understood that, because, I went to school, and most of my friends, really didn't have too many Haitian friends, even though when the only time you really saw Haitians, if you were a Haitian, was when we went to church, because we were scattered and it wasn't that many of us. So the young people, the children, we had a different relationship with African Americans than, let's say, the older people. And we couldn't understand that. Now, things kind of shifted when I got into high school. And I told you guys this before. For the most part, I was okay, but because I had a lot of close knit relationship with African Americans, friends that went back to, junior high school, kindergarten into high school. So, but there were some Haitians, let's say they had just come, and, their accents were thick and whatnot, and they were given a hard time. Now, but at the same time, I used to wonder why that was, why they were picked on, but it wasn't something that, let's say, I felt like they did just because they were Haitians. They did it because they could tell they were different. For one, the accent was there. That was different. For two, they dressed differently. For 3, the hair, we used to have those little plaits. You could tell, little ribbons, and, African American children were not dressing that way, but we were dressing like we were going to church every day. Or they were for the part. And so they can tell. And by doing that, it became something different. And people here in America, I don't care if you are, they pick with you if you're different. And this has a lot to do with, and I think, the relationship that goes on with the relationship that went on with the slave master. In white supremacy, you basically got picked on because you were different. We were treated differently because we were different. And this goes on, not only, it didn't happen to us with white supremacy, not just in Africa. In America, it didn't just happen to our brothers and sisters there. It happened to us all. Whenever we went into spaces where, these people were, we always felt a little different than them, and they made us feel different. But in Africa, there's also a level of, looking at people differently based on tribe. So, I was trying to wrap my head around why they felt like, they came in feeling that way, because they're coming from a place where there's nothing but Black people. And so my thing is that, I am really just now starting to realize that the reasons that, immigrants, or what you call us, immigrants, or people that come from different places that come into America or UK, why do we act the way we do? There's levels to it. It's not just one thing. As far as I'm concerned, it has a lot to do with Man, it has a lot to do with the the way that, first and foremost, the older people that came here, and I explained this yesterday, but I'm going to break it down really, really well. Most of them came here with no papers. And I'm only speaking for Haitians. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm thinking that's how most immigrants come. They come and they have no papers. And some of them are basically working under the table or doing whatever they can do to hustle, you know. So that being said, and even those that come with papers, they come with temporary papers, meaning that they're being watched and they know it. So they tend to have this, I'm gonna act a certain way and stay out of certain situations, only party with my people, deal, you know, in that way. So that was one reason. You know, another reason is, there, you have to keep in mind that there is a system behind the distancing as well. And it helps them to keep us separated, because if we were all united, it would be too much to deal with and they would not be able to stop it. We saw examples of us uniting in the 60s. When you think about some of the brothers and sisters that came from the Caribbean and how they were working with their brothers and sisters here, you know, the African Americans here in America, and all that they were able to achieve. I mean, if you take a look at that time, you could point out that there were Caribbeans working with, you know, African Americans. There were African Americans. There were Africans also working. So they saw through examples of unity that, you know, us coming together, us being close, us, you know, not being distant from each other is not a good thing for them. So there's been many apparatuses used. Now, that's not to justify a lot of the ignorance that go on. I mean, as far as the you know, people thinking they're better than others, and folks, they, like today I spent the whole afternoon just watching videos trying to find the best clips. And there were some videos I saw of my Nigerian brothers and sisters, and some of them were basically giving reasoning to why they succeed so well when they get here in America. And a lot of them really thought they were just more intelligent. And some of them just were like, hey, we come in, we're hungry, because a lot of us, you know, some of them thought it was because they were more intelligent. And, you know, I have to be honest about that. But some of them really felt like, hey, we come in and we have only one strategy. Strategy is to get as much money as we can so we can take care of our families.